Good to go. Perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Katina. I'm Covet Mane's Education and Community Manager. And today I have on Mckaela Van Der Lee, owner of Lovely Salon. We're so excited to have her on to talk about all things marketing within the extension world and really answering any questions that come up. So feel free to drop those in the chat. I'll be answering some of them, and then I'll shoot them over to Mckaela to answer as well. But we're really excited. We have a really full group to dive into everything. So Mckaela, I'd love for you to jump on and introduce yourself.
Hello, I am so excited to be here today and doing this. Marketing is one of my favorite subjects. I feel like I can go on and on and on about it. So I'm excited to be here. So my name's Mckaela, and then I am the owner of Lovely Salon here in Tucson. We have been opened for 3 years this year, I think. And yeah, I started my career back in 2019, right before the pandemic hit, but I feel like things didn't really start to take off until 2020. And I feel like that year was a big social media year with like a lot of changes and stuff. So I honestly feel like I got kind of lucky with how social media was, because when I started taking clients and doing stuff, social media just was booming anyways. So I kind of just dove right into social media and started marketing that way and was able to grow my clientele pretty quickly. Once we came back from everything being closed down in like June or whatever, by like holiday season, I was booked and busy. And I think it's all because of marketing and putting myself out there. So I kind of want to share what I've learned over the past couple years of marketing. And then now I feel like it's so different, and like the way to market towards people is so different than it once was. So yeah, I'm just super excited.
And how would you describe your unique marketing style?
I would probably describe it, right now we're kind of in a weird transition where I feel like all my eggs were in one basket before of just Instagram and doing stuff like that. Now we're trying to branch out and do Google. I'm trying to get into TikTok, and doing like ads that way. And so a lot of what we do is I like to educate people as a part of my marketing, and not being like, oh, we have openings, book with us. Like I like to like, I don't even know what the right word is, kind of like get in their head from like the back door and let them know about us and like get them, I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is. Like
I think it's like a
basically we're,
conversation starter.
yeah, like I'm more so like looking, I want to be known to them, not necessarily just like dragging them into the door. I want to like educate them and have a purpose and like create an impact on them versus just posting a hair photo and being like, oh, this is good hair. Like I try to do it a little bit differently, I feel like. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
So when you're looking for your ideal client, and like you said, you kind of like to feed them information about what your brand pillars are of like having healthy hair, diving into like it's gorgeous hair, but look under the hood, showing how to maintain this hair as they're going through their journey. What do you want that content to say to them?
So, with that, I had done a coaching program a year or two ago. And one of the things that had us do within this coaching program was basically build out a whole client profile. So, we sat down and I went into like how much money they make, what their lifestyle looks like, their hobbies. Like, I like basically designed a person and down to every detail of it. And then with that, I like know how that person's going to think. And I like, when I market towards them, I'm hitting key points that like would register in their brain, be like, oh, I could actually get extensions. So like a common thing people think is like, oh, you can't wear your hair up with extensions. So I would post a video of being like, one of my favorite parts about extensions is you can wear your hair up and it be discreet. You can still go to the gym. You can do all of these things and live a normal life. And I, to this day, still have clients be like, oh, you can do that. And I'm like, yes. So I'll market in that kind of way towards them to where I'm like answering questions that they haven't even asked me yet through my social media and things, so that it's basically like that checklist in their head. They're like, I want extensions. I don't know. And then I'll be like, oh, you can still wear your hair up. And they're like, oh, cool. And I like do that with every little thing, or like what the maintenance looks like. And I'll mark it that way because then it seems more obtainable to them.
You let the work speak for itself.
Yeah. Versus I feel like back when I first started, posting a pretty hair photo was enough. And I like didn't need to be anything more than that. Now, like my hair photos on my Instagram do the worst. They No one cares. The only time people look is if they're going to come to you for the first time and they want to see that it's good, but they also need something else to like hook them in, because every hairstylist posts hair photos. So I want to post something that's going to be different and stand out and make me stand out. And posting just a hair photo every single day for every post, I feel like doesn't do that anymore. I need to draw them in with like my personality, with educating them and like showing them my credibility through my social media.
It's a nice balance to get to know your stylist before getting to know them when you're in the chair. So I feel now you have to have different branches even within your business page. So they want to see you going to get like a nice coffee and like chatting with your friends, but they also want to know that when they come into your chair, you have the knowledge and the expertise to take care of them as a client.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I've had so many clients message me who like they decide to book an appointment or they're like on the fence about it. And I just like post on my stories regularly about me, what I'm doing, what we do in the salon, all those things. And people have literally DM'd me like, I feel like I know you and I feel like we're friends, even though I've never been in the salon. And that's like the kind of connection I want. Because I feel like
Mhm.
we're all so unique and so different, and that there's literally a stylist for everybody, that if you show your personality, you're going to find your type of people. So I feel like nowadays I don't really get clients that I don't mesh well with, because they can see who I am. If they don't like something about me, they're going to know through my Instagram, versus them coming to an appointment and I think we had a good conversation and then them never coming back, you know?
It's almost like a pre-consultation vibe check, if you will. And I
Yeah.
love that you mentioned like attracting your ideal client. How would you describe your ideal client? And we kind of talked about how you market to them, but marketing is one piece, but getting them in your chair is another. How do you get them to that point once you have like the fish on the hook?
I think with our marketing, I like to show them why we're different. And here in Tucson's kind of a it's a small, big town. So there isn't much variety when it comes to hair salons. So, like, literally 2 hours away in Phoenix, there's so many salons that I feel like I would say are similar that you really have to kind of pick and choose between. Whereas here in Tucson, a lot of the salons here are like an older style, and they've been around for like forever. So I'm trying to be the different trendy salon. We do have a couple of them, but my goal is to be like a different, like more modern, doing new approaches and a new way of things. So when I market towards that I think draws them in. And then I like to showcase our amenities to people and just like the overall atmosphere of the salon. I don't want it to feel, even within our like design of the salon, the goal was to make it feel like home and make it feel cozy, because they do come and sit here for like 3, 4, 5 hours. I want it to feel cozy and kind of like they're at home. And I think when we showcase that, they're more inclined to come sit with us versus being, I don't know, somewhere that doesn't feel like home. It just feels like, I always talk like an assembly line salon where it's like not an experience. It's
Yeah.
just like you go in, you get your hair done, and we're trying to offer more of an experience. And I think having that type of experience makes people want to come in a little bit more, and it also makes them want to stay.
Oh, for sure. I think you kind of paint the picture on your Instagram or social media of this is what the salon looks like. We want a home approach. And then bringing that to the in person is really important to them. Just as they're coming in, they're like, it does translate. I do see what I'm looking for in my artist in this space.
Yeah. And I think I kind of learned this even through when I built that dream clientele, like their home looked like my home, but my salon also, like if you were to bring my salon into my home, they
Mhm.
match. Like they would, it wouldn't look out of place. And I feel like that draws people in. So you're gonna want to go where you feel like it's your vibe. So if I was like, we did like vivids and like stuff like that, I feel like my salon would be a little bit more colorful and it would have more funky pieces. And there's a certain type of person that's going to be drawn to that and want to be in that. Whereas mine is very neutral, minimal, and that kind
Mhm.
of aesthetic. So then they're going to be just automatically more interested in mine versus something that's like crazy colors and all of that.
Mhm. For sure. We have a question from Samantha. Do you think hashtags or locations matter for posting to bring in locals?
I think I still put hashtags on all of my posts just to filter it.
Mhm.
I think if you're in a hashtag enough, because every once in a while I'll go look through like the hashtags I use,
Mhm.
and you kind of want to be in like the most popular group because that's what's going to come up first. So if someone does go to look that up, you'll pop up in there, and if yours has like more likes, it's going to be boosted more within that. And then we also do tag a location. I don't ever tag our salon specifically because that narrows us down. I'll just tag like the whole Tucson area so that it can be seen. And sometimes on your Instagram, it'll show you things that like you could be interested in. And I think those do kind of come from, they either come from people you're following who like look into that, or I think it is if you're like local. Like I get ads all the time for like local based businesses on my feed. So I think they do help, but I don't think they like will make or break your post because hashtags are really oversaturated now. There's like thousands and thousands of posts within each hashtag now. So I feel like they do help, but they're not like what's going to be the biggest impact.
And kind of speaking to that, like bringing in those clients, do you find that most of your clients are coming from existing clients, or do you get a lot of new clients that I saw you on Instagram and I came into the salon?
We do get we get a good amount of referrals, but a lot of it is from social media that we
Mhm.
get it from. Um, we've recently started getting, we've been trying more on TikToks, and I was always hesitant about TikTok, for example, because you can like tag a location within TikTok, but TikTok reaches everybody. So anyone who's interested in hair, it's going to hit. Whereas for us as a local business, me having a million followers on Instagram won't do anything for my local business. So we've been playing around with like TikTok, for example, on how to get it to hit more locally. And I feel like it's been working, and we've started getting people from TikTok. Um, Instagram has kind of been our biggest thing. It's like our online portfolio. So, like on our website, I don't put any of our work photos or anything there. Instagram is like our portfolio. And I feel like that's where most people go to find businesses now.
Another question from Brittany came in. Facebook has been my biggest platform that I've built all of my clientele on. I definitely feel a struggle with Instagram and TikTok. So what advice would you give her if she's wanting to break into Instagram? Like where would you start?
I feel like I have a, I made like a little grid model thing for your Instagram just to kind of get you posting and get you into like a routine. So you're not doing hair. It's like do a hair photo and then do like a product photo or like a behind the scenes thing, do a photo of you, do like a mix of things and start posting through there. And just honestly doing it regularly makes the biggest difference, I feel like. And if you're active on your stories, like I want people whenever they come to our Instagrams, I want us to be active on there in some way, shape, or form. Because I don't want us to look like a dead account whenever they come to me. So being consistent on there, being consistent on stories. Well, this is for Instagram specifically. Being consistent on stories and then posting regularly and having a variety of posts to kind of draw them in. Like, have you guys ever like found a creator like on TikTok or something and you click on one video and you're like, oh, I want to see more from them. And you just like go down this rabbit hole of like scrolling. If you post all hair photos, I feel like that won't really happen. It's not going to draw them in. Whereas if you're posting like a variety of different things, they're going to get hooked and they're going to scroll through. And then you're going to be like kind of a burned name in their brain. And they're going to be like drawn to you and want to see what you're going to post next. Um, that's kind of what I do for Instagram. And I always try to keep my my bio active, or like active with like all the accurate things. So if anything changes, I'll update it. And then I don't really do the little highlight things. I'll go in and edit them like honestly every like 6 months. But the little like story highlights on that sit on your feed, I'll go into those and update them if I need. But it's really just my feed and my stories with Instagram. With TikTok, I'm still kind of figuring out because Instagram is more curated, but like it's trying to be a little less curated now. But Instagram, I feel like is more curated, more aesthetic videos. Whereas TikTok, people don't want that. They want raw, real. They want you to like get on there and cry or something. Like they want it almost too raw and real. So I've been trying to find a happy medium with TikTok and what I can do on TikTok. And I also try to keep I try to be really mindful about what I'm posting with TikTok, because you can see like some of there's hairstylist videos on there where they're talking negatively about clients, or they're like kind of making fun. And I mean, I've posted them too before, but with that, you're going to find the people who are like, oh, I don't want to go to her. She insults her clients, even if you're like making a joke out of something. So I try to keep all of my TikToks. I want them to be funny, but then also being informative or like more raw and real, but I'm never like insulting other stylists or clients or like anything like that, because I feel like from a growth point on TikTok, yeah, that'll probably boost your following, but then you're going to have potential clients on there and be like, ooh, she talks like smack about her clients, or that they use box dye or whatever. And that's going to like, I feel like mess you up trying to build a clientele locally, if that makes sense.
So it's always about finding that balance between what you want your business to say and what clients want to hear.
Yeah. And I like TikTok is a whole new ball game I'm trying to figure out. And it's, you can grow a lot on there. And I feel like TikTok can open up a lot of new doors for you, and it can bring in some clients, but I don't think TikTok is like the place to grow your clientele. I think TikTok is going to be the place to grow a following to open up new doors for you, but I don't necessarily think you can build an entire clientele off of TikTok.
And how often do you audit your approach to social media? So you have your pillars of you post something about yourself, educational, then filtering in the client photos. How do you take like a step back at least once a month to see what's working, what you need to adjust, and how to continue to grow your business?
Yeah, I honestly check it kind of regularly. If I post a reel, I always go and look and see how many views it got, and I can always see the difference. And then there will be nights where I'll go and like sit down on like Instagram Reels, for example, and I'll just scroll through it, see what's trending, or even like I'll look through other stylists, not necessarily going in to copy them, but stylists who are like booming within Instagram and social media. I want to see what they're posting. What are people drawn to? How do you get people to comment on your post? What's like drawing them in? So I'll go through people who I like admire and kind of see what they're doing and posting, and then go back and look at my page and be like, okay, where can I do better? Like I know for my page, for example, I do post about me and like my personality, but I have this like line that I just like won't cross. And like I feel like my reels are never funny on Instagram. Like I don't post anything really funny. It's all serious. And I think if I were to start posting more funny things or more realistic things like that, they might do a little bit better. But I'll go through pretty regularly and look. And then the algorithm always changes too. So that's a whole new thing to try to like figure out. And you can never, unless I personally don't know if there's like a new article posted about the algorithms on things, but I'll go see what's working and see what's not working and kind of reroute my plans for things. And then because I also get bored making the same type of content all the time. But then I also think it's important too. So even if something's trending, you have to stay true to you. You can't just do something because it's trending. You're not going to draw anyone in with that. You're just going to look like every other girl or every other hairstylist, you know? So I
And
would look through it and tweak it periodically.
and do you manage your own personal account and the salon account, or do you have, say, a social media manager that comes in and assists with that? And what does that look like if you do?
So we have she's our salon manager now. She was just promoted to manager. But she's been helping us with like videos and stuff. So she'll like get content of us, film it. We give her like ideas, or if she sees stuff that's getting posted, she's like, she owns a boutique. So she sees a whole new world of content, and she also has more of a consumer mindset when it comes to things. So we'll kind of give her our ideas, and she'll be like, oh, I'm seeing this a lot, or like, I think this would actually do better. And she sees it from like not a hairstylist perspective. She sees it from a consumer perspective, which is always helpful. So she helps us like get content, film content. And then I do have her post and like help curate our salon feed. But I like oversee, I do my own. And then I also like oversee the salon one. I'm like very hands-on. I can't let anything go. I have like control issues. So she's there to like make sure things get posted, but I'm still approve everything and like help create the content.
And do you have a plan mapped out for the stylists that work within your salon? Like, is there a requirement to post 3, 4 times a week, or do you leave that up to them?
So we're leaving it up to them, and like they honestly do pretty good on their own with posting. I think being in an environment where that's like supported, and that's like what we try to do. We're all kind of there helping each other with it. So they do pretty good on their own, but I only have I have two other stylists and then our manager. But I think going forward, we are going to be making it a requirement just so it's never an issue. And even for the team, if like they have certain metrics they have to hit because we're a commission salon, I think I do need to like have it be a requirement of some sort. That way, if like their clientele isn't growing or things aren't happening, we know that they're posting on social media and they're doing like their efforts within marketing. Um, so going forward, it will be a requirement. But my two right now, they've been really good about posting. So it hasn't been an issue.
And do you have a plan set for new stylists coming into the salon? Say you're wanting to grow, there's a new artist that just got out of beauty school and she has no following. How would you help her grow that and maintain it?
So whenever new stylists come in, we have like a whole co-stylist program. And within that, they get like the hands-on day-to-day things. And so with when they're doing that, they can be getting content, even if it's not their own client, they're helping me, they're being hands-on. They can like still post bits and pieces of what we're doing, get on their stories, showcase their day, do a day in my life as a co-stylist, and they can get active in that way. When I first started, I was a co-stylist and that's what I was doing. And if they want to post our hair photos that we do together, like they helped just as much as I did. So
Mhm.
they can post them. It just they can't be like, look at my hair I did, you know. But I don't think anyone really would do that. But they can showcase what they're doing within the salon and like talk about it. Or if they do like a blowout on one of my clients, they can like talk about a blowout, haircuts, all the things. And so we do have a plan set in place for them to grow and to help build their clientele. Um, and it's just kind of expected that they document that journey and showcase it.
Mhm. And I think that helps for you as the salon owner to have that system in place, because I feel sometimes as a new artist coming into the salon, it can be intimidating. So if I have someone there in my corner to support, this is how you market, this is how you talk to your clients, and getting their feet wet with it, they're a lot more confident to do those things on their own.
Yeah, they definitely are. Whenever I assisted, it was if I wouldn't feel motivated to do something, or I wouldn't feel comfortable doing something if no one else did it around me. And at the very first salon I was at, no one posted on social media, no one did like vlogs or videos. So I was like trying to do it, but then like not that they laugh at you, but they kind of do. They're like making a little bit of joke about it. And I want our salon to be, you come in, you can film content, you can do whatever. And so like we still chuckle a little because it's just funny. But like everyone's so supportive of making videos or like getting content. We all help each other. And that's the kind of environment I want it to be. I want to be able to help other stylists grow and learn and build their own clientele. And I think we do that collectively. And so if we create a space that's like supportive of that, they're just going to want to do it anyways.
And you kind of talked about the challenge of your previous salon, and we've also talked about what's worked in your business, but what didn't work as you were growing? Like, where did you find pain points in marketing your space and growing that?
I would say I can't figure out Facebook. Facebook, for example, I like don't know how to work it. I don't know how to market it. Um, I I like will have my Instagram posts automatically post towards that, and it's there, and I'll post in like Facebook groups and stuff, and sometimes that gets people, but for me and the type of business I want to build, Facebook is the type of place where I feel like you get the discount people or the people like in all the Facebook groups. So like, where can I go to get my hair done? That doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I'm like, okay, those aren't my people. So Facebook has never really worked for us. Doing the TikToks, like I said, where you're like trying to be funny and a client can be insulted by that, that's never worked for us. And so we've taken a different approach, even though like stylists may think it's funny. That's not who my target audience is, and that's not what's going to build my income and build my clientele.
Mhm.
So doing videos like that have just never worked for us. And then Instagram, sometimes Instagram works and sometimes it doesn't. We'll get like randomly, we'll get like a bunch of people who message and want to book with us on Instagram, and then it like falls off. And then we've been recently doing Google, and Google's like a 50-50. People are
Yeah.
calling in, but they're people who aren't necessarily our target market clientele. So I haven't figured out with Google specifically, like we run Google ads monthly, but it's not hitting the target market clientele the same way Instagram does. So I
Interesting.
haven't figured out what necessarily to do with Google because we are like very niche down. We do blondes and extensions, and I would say we have a little bit higher of a price point, but that doesn't necessarily reach. So those are the things I haven't figured out. And even Yelp, Yelp hates me. I've decided some I don't like Yelp, but a lot of the coaching programs I do say Yelp makes a big difference, but I've never had success with Yelp. So I'm not sure how to work Yelp. Um, and word of mouth is hard. Like our clients are so loyal to us. They love us and they love the salon, but if they don't know that many people, who are they going to tell? So like I have one client, she's referred like a gajillion people. And then I have other clients who have never referred anyone, you know, but our clients also too, like they'll even come in and tell me, I feel like our clients are mindful of our type of clientele. So like one came in and told me that like, oh, my friend was looking for a new hairstyle. She's like, she's awful. You don't want to do her hair. So I didn't tell her to come to you. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for looking out for us. Um, Word of mouth is tricky to get people. You have to be so amazing and like be doing something totally different, I feel like, to get people to talk about you. And that's something we're really trying to work on is with building. We have a great client retention rate, but getting those extra referrals is what we're trying to work on in the moment.
And I think with marketing, there's no one way to do it to be successful. I think finding what works for you in your business, one, who's the client that you want to talk to, how do you get them in your chair, and how to get them to be a returning client is where you find success in it. It's never going to be an easy sit down one day project and you're going to be successful. You have to work at it week over week.
Yeah. And you have to continue to like nurture your clients. You can't like if we start offering a new amenity, our services and everything within the salon can't stay the same from today till like 5 years from now. It's ever evolving and changing. And I think you have to be keeping up with the change and evolving too, and offering like, if you're going to increase your prices, something I always try to do is offer something else within their appointment to like make it balance out to where they feel like they're getting something more, even if it's like low cost on our end. Trying to build up the perceived value of it versus just being like, oh, we're charging $50 more and you get nothing else. Like we try to keep up with like adding new things, being different, changing, and kind of keeping them like enticed to come back.
And I think that's nice for them. It's the why behind your business, because for your clients, it's all about transparency, whether it comes to the color of their hair or what they're being charged, being able to explain that to them.
Yeah. And that, for example, reminds me, one of the things we try to do all the time. It's like we are so honest. If we're not comfortable doing something, like we don't do a lot of extremely short haircuts. So if someone comes in and they're like, I want that, we're honest. We don't just try to do it just to make the money. Or if like we had a client come in who she got her hair messed up and wanted extensions and like came in a panic. And the stylist was like, I don't think extensions are good for you. Like if you want them and if you're set on them, you can get them, but like I feel like they're not going to fit your lifestyle, or they're not going to be something you're going to want for forever. And the client was like so happy that she was honest. Instead of just trying to sell her like $2,000 worth of extensions, she was honest, and now she's a returning client. So even though she's not an extension client, she's still in the doors. And I think being honest like that versus trying to be a salesperson and just sell everything to everybody makes a big impact. It shows you're a real person and you're empathetic to people. And that's one of the biggest things we try to do is be a real person, you know?
Exactly. I feel like people can sense when someone isn't genuine in their business. And I think as a client, like even you being a client, because you do get your hair done as well, it's like, what do you want your experience to be and how you can translate those things into your client experience?
Yeah. And that's something I think about all the time. I'll go and get my nails done and be like, oh my gosh, I don't like this part of my experience. Like, we cannot be like this. So anytime I go see a service provider somewhere, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't like this part of my experience, or like they did this and I loved that. Like, we should do something like that. I'll judge, go and like, not judge, but like go feel out different client experiences everywhere so we can build up our client experience.
Mhm. And what would you say are the top three things that are most important in your marketing before we go?
I would say being personable and being realistic and like honest with people, showcasing who you are. People want to get to know you. I would say that that should be number one, because we're building personal relationships. So being you and showcasing your true authentic self, that's definitely number one. I would probably say consistency for number two. You want to be showing up, being active, educating, and promoting yourself regularly, because the algorithms are only going to work better the more active you are. So consistency, I would say, is number two. And then the third one, I would say being think about why you're different and think about what goal you're trying to achieve with things. You want to be post exactly what you want. And so being, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Being mindful of what you're posting. If you don't want to do something, don't post about it. Like intentional. That's the word I'm looking at. Like intention. What's your intention behind your post? What are you trying to achieve? So I would say, yeah, being personable. I forgot what my second one was.
Consistent.
Oh, personal, consistent, and intentional. I feel like that is going to get you so far with marketing and with social media and all of that. Um, those would be the three things that I would focus in on with your marketing.
I love that. I think it's important to have a game plan in your marketing, but also be open to shifts and making those changes, but keep your personality, be consistent in it, and always remember your why. That's so important
Mhm.
for your business because you got into this business with a why in mind. So hold on to that. Whenever you're posting, whenever your engagement is low or it's high, or you're enjoying what you're doing, live in that and you'll be successful, I feel.
Yeah,
Any advice to share before we wrap up for this session?
I would just say don't take the numbers on any social media or anything personal. A number means nothing in your real life. As long as you have a successful business, you're building connections, and I feel like your bills are paid, your social media following and all of that literally isn't the end of the world.
It's an added bonus.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mckaela, for jumping on and sharing with us. And do you mind dropping your Instagram for those that want to follow and see your aesthetic and how you grow your business?
Yes, I will do that. And then someone said that she wants my little social media grid. So if you message me on Instagram, I can screenshot it and send it to you so you can see.
And thank you to everyone that jumped on and joined us this Monday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. And let's see. Alrighty. There's a message in there.